guys. I think this is working. This is how I always feel at the start of a live anyway. I never really know whether it's on or not. And I'm drinking tea. Sorry to be boring, not wine, because it's 8 p.m. in Melbourne, Australia, and I felt like it. Oh, cool. 3 people are viewing. That's exciting. 4. Yay. Hi, guys. So as you may have read or may know otherwise, I'm Gretta van Riel. I'm the founder of SkinnyMe tea. I'm also the founder of Drop Bottle and Skin Tox Co. And I'm just going to turn the sound off on my computer. I'm the co-founder at The Fifth Watches, and I am the founder of Hey Influencers and soon to be Hey Engage. So Hey Engage is our new Instagram engagement pod platform. So be sure to keep an eye out for that coming soon, which is pretty exciting. 18 people and 0 questions. Guys, talk to me. Oh, yay, Jane. Hi, Jane. It's exciting. I first met Jane in Sydney at Cub Business Club, which was a very fun night. A lot of rosé that night rather than on the teas. And I think we even did like Sambucal shots or something, didn't we, Jane? I don't know. Anyway, pretty intense night. I'll just keep waiting for a few more people to come online, but hopefully somebody has a question. Or you can even just drop hi if you're just here to listen. It would just be nice to know people exist in the world. But otherwise we can get started. I'll go into my background a tiny bit more for people that are just coming in now. And I've got my first question from Mava. Hi, Mava, which is really exciting. But first, I'm going to stop saying for 1, and for 2, I'm just going to talk a little bit about how I started my first startup, which was SkinnyMe tea. Again, I was 22 years old and I started SkinnyMe tea with $24 in the bank. I was working full-time at the time. The only reason I had $24 in the bank was I just bought quite an expensive handbag, to be honest. And I'd been doing a lot of detoxes on the market and I wanted an all-natural solution. And I really love tea, as I'm drinking it right now. And I just wanted to get more into like an all-natural detox. And so I combined like my love for tea and my love for detoxing into the world's first Tea-Tox. And now there's over 500 different Tea-Tox companies worldwide, which is exciting. Oh, cool. Now I have some questions and interaction, so this is a lot more fun now. So Mava has a question for me first. Hi, Greta. How do you keep coming up with new ideas? Do they come in waves? Yeah, that's a good question, Mava. Sorry, my internet's not really loading. I hope that, am I frozen? Oh no, I'm unfrozen. Sorry if anybody lost me there for a sec. Are you coming up with an idea? What I generally do to come up with an idea is I take a problem or a product that's already potentially on the market, or I combine 2 products that are on the market into one product. And basically coming up with a product is like solving a problem. It's like the answer to a question or the solution to a problem. And you also obviously want to come up with something that resonates with you as strongly as possible. But the main thing to remember, I guess, is that you don't need to reinvent the wheel when you're coming up with a new product idea. So to come up with an innovative idea, I'd take an existing product and I'd change some dimensions of that product. So the main dimensions I usually look at are design, time, function, and price. So if you think about it, a good example of all of these could be, let's take a a mobile phone case, for example. So a way that we could change its design might be like the customization and personalization trend. The way that we could change time is maybe the product's only available to purchase for a limited amount of time, or there's only limited stocks available. That creates like this kind of scarcity effect that drives demand a lot. A way that you could change function could be, you know, something like a selfie camera like a Lumi did, or a goat case. If you've seen those phone cases that like stick onto any surface. Or a love handle is another one. It's like when you've got your phone, there's a little handle that goes in the back. So when you're taking selfies and whatever, or holding it to do a live, if I was using my phone, you don't drop it on the ground, which I often do. And then price, obviously, very affordable pricing is more inclusive, and then more exclusive pricing would be usually, you know, that kind of higher end pricing. So basically, when I'm trying to come up with a product and trying to come up with a new idea, not that I don't think I've ever tried to come up with a product or tried to come up with an idea though. It's just, for me, it's when I can't possibly not do what I've thought about. Like I kind of have that like aha moment or that light bulb moment where I can't not pursue that, because it makes so much sense all of a sudden in my mind that I'm just like, yes, I have to be working on this. I have to do this. Like all of the products that I've created have just been solving a problem for myself. So it's kind of made a lot of sense for me to do that. Wow, there's a lot of questions now, so I'm going to speed up. But Mava, hopefully that answered for you, lovely. Alyssa Ho, hi, beautiful lady. You're amazing. Oh, Alyssa, you are amazing too. I'm super excited for your event. Jenna Jones, hey. Hey, Jenna. Hi, Gretta, says Snappy McGee. Ooh, what a name. Hi, Greta. What's your number one tip for gaming the Instagram algorithm in its current state? Yeah, okay, Snappy. Okay, sorry if Snappy is or is not your full name. Snappy, is that your full name? Really? It's a cool name. I call my cat Snappy a lot. Number one tip for gaming the Instagram algorithm right now, that's a really great question, because it actually has a lot to do with the product that we're developing at the moment, which will be live next week, which is my engagement tool. It's called Hey Engage, and it basically creates engagement groups or pods, which are small groups of like-minded people of a similar audience. So that means that you have, you're from a similar niche, so say beauty bloggers, for example, and you have an account of a similar size. So let's say 1,000 followers to keep it reasonable. So you're a beauty blogger with 1,000 followers and you want to kind of grow your following on Instagram. A good way to grow that is by collaborating in a group structure, with maybe 10, 20, 30 other beauty bloggers. And each time that you post onto Instagram, you simply engage with that straight away. The way that this helps kind of hack or game the algorithm is that the algorithm on Instagram is based on a lot of different factors, but the number one factor that, I was just stopping with the whole hand claw thing. The number one factor that affects the algorithm has to do with engagement. So it's how popular a post is, basically. And I mean, Instagram say it's not just a popularity contest. There are a lot of other factors involved, but the faster you can get people to engage with your post, and the higher quality of engagement, so genuine engagement, good comments, over 4 words long, and like genuine comments, not things just like love it or whatever else people say, like off the cuff, because Instagram's obviously stopped a lot of the automation that's been going on. So like the more genuine engagement you can get from like-minded people, like-minded bitches, the better. So basically the way that the algorithm works is that it shows your post in the newsfeed to 10% of your following, for example, and then it determines off that 10% how many of the remaining 90% it will show the post to. So say that comment gets 8 out of 10. Oh, lots of likes there. Thanks, girls. Say that comment gets 8 out of 10 of the people that saw it in that 10% engaging with it. That means that 8 out of 10% 20% of the remaining, 8 out of 10 of the remaining 90%, so that's 72% of the remaining followers will then be shown your content. So that helps your post go viral, basically. That helps you get onto the explore page, helps you get into the top posts of hashtags, but it also helps you just get to the top of the newsfeed for yourself. So I hope that kind of answers that question. If anybody has any other questions about the Instagram algorithm, I have a lot more to say about it, but I'll shut up for now. It's also on our Hey Influencers blog. There's this really great post on the 7 aspects that affect the newsfeed algorithm. So hang on, I'll just write heyinfluencers.com/blog. Cool. So you can have a look at, we've only got a couple of blog posts up right now because I don't have time to write them. I'm trying. Okay, so Snappy, hopefully that helped answer your question. Jordana, do you still own SkinnyMe tea? Yes, I still own SkinnyMe tea. Yeah. 5 years on, we've sold over 11 million cups of tea now. It's enough to fill, I think, like 2 Olympic swimming pools or something. And our customers have lost over 1.5 million kilos in weight, which is exciting. And yeah, there's been some incredible stories come out of that company, and yeah, I've had an amazing time building it. But I do have an incredible team who is very, very supportive. And of course, they support me to be able to start and pursue other ideas. Marja Queen. Thank you, Marja. Lovely Brisbane girl, very involved in the startup scene. Everybody check her out too. Christina's drinking tea too, yay. This one is a peppermint. Marja, are you planning on any new businesses at the moment? Only Hey Engage right now, just planning on getting that live in the next week. And Marja, you've actually beta tested it, so you know lots about the platform, which is awesome. It's really exciting. Basically, we designed the platform originally to be like, you create a pod and then you find like people to join it. But then we realized through our beta testing that we'd actually developed it the entire wrong way around. And rather than focusing so much on the pod creation, it was more about pod discovery. And so you log in and you, rather than going to get prompted to create your own pod and your own community, you suddenly can go to an explore page and explore all these really engaged little micro communities, which we call pods, to be able to join, which is far more exciting to me. Okay, hey Cherie, hello. Samantha, hi Greta, thanks for taking the time to share your wisdom with us. I have a question about marketing via social. You've launched your product on Instagram. What are the key initial steps you'd take to gain followers and generate brand awareness? Okay, yeah, this is a really good one. I was actually going through my kind of Instagram 101 with my marketing assistant today because it was our first kind of Instagram lesson. And I'd say like the main things that you want to focus on Instagram, obviously like your content, the context of your posts, so captions. You want your captions to be relevant and you want them to tell a narrative. So what I like focusing on for a caption is who, what, when, where, why. And actually I start with what and then who, when, where, why. So who is, well, what first is just like the noun, what is in the photo. Let's say it's a smoothie bowl. And then who could be who you're with, or otherwise it could be if you're reposting content, it's crediting the original owner. Who, what, when. When doesn't always have to be like, it's not like the time that you've taken it or something. It could be like, this is a throwback. It's just kind of contextualizing that image for your followers. Or it could be, you know, something like summer, a season, or it could be something like morning or night, just making the post as relevant as possible to the followers. Where, Obviously, you can use your location, and why is a really important one as well. Like, why are you posting this? What do you kind of want to achieve out of it? It might just be that inward thought for yourself, like the why, and you don't need to post it in the post. Or otherwise, like the why could tie in kind of more so with your call to action in your post. So doing things like asking people to engage with the post works really, really well. Like, you might think it seems a bit silly to say things like tag a friend or save this picture for later on Instagram, but those things up engagement by so much. This is actually a secret tip that I just discovered today. So what I did was, on one of my feeds, which is weight loss secrets, I'll show it up here, I posted foods that benefit your body. Then in the caption, if you can see, I put a star and I put save for later. You may or may not know that one of the factors that influences the algorithm, again, is engagement. But one of the things that adds to that engagement is how many people have saved your post. Usually our posts, let's see what our last post got, how many saves. Our last post got 40 saves. This post, because I used the call to action, save for later, already in a couple of hours, 351 people have already saved it, which contributes massively to the engagement. So that's a new little hack that I just came up with today. So that's exciting. And I'm sure everyone will be doing that on Instagram soon once I start reposting it around my accounts. Hopefully, well, people that follow in the space that I'm kind of in, not everyone, of course. Initial steps you'd take to gain followers and generate brand awareness. Okay, I only just spoke about content just then. I'm sorry, Samantha. There's a lot more to kind of chat about in relation to growing your Instagram. I would again say that engagement groups and getting as much engagement as you possibly can to begin with is awesome. Another thing when you're working within these engagement groups is if you see that the post is kind of, going viral, getting a lot more engagement than your posts usually do, a secret little tip or hack could be mentioning yourself in your comment. So say you're I'm at Gretta on Instagram. I'm at Gretta on Instagram at Gretta. I would put in my caption at Gretta. So it seems like a really silly thing to do, except people are just so much more likely to tap that username in your in your caption. I haven't put it in this one, but see how easy it would be to tap that feed your body link rather than actually tapping the name of the account. So you can say if you want to see more content, you can follow me here at Gretta in your caption of your Instagram post. That actually works really, really well. So if you do ever see that your post is getting more likes and engagement than usual, that's a good way to do it. Obviously shout outs are still a way that work. They don't have to be shout outs. It can be, a shout out is basically when one person mentions another person to their followers and then some of those followers go across and follow them. So that's basically how influencer marketing works as well. If somebody larger mentions you, you're obviously going to get more followers. Sorry, that is super basic, but I just want to cater to all levels of Insta knowledge. So Samantha, I'm sorry, I hope that helped, but I'd really say that right now my number one growth hack is engagement groups, and that's why I'm pursuing them. It's got, everything to do with scratching my own itch again. I really want this product, and I think it's kind of what the market needs at the moment. So yeah, engagement groups, awesome content, and contextualizing your posts. So, hashtags are helpful too, to an extent. I'm not the best with hashtags actually, but yeah, there are a lot of different kind of tips. I'm going to keep moving because I'm so behind in the questions now. Christina, tell us about your new pods you've launched. I think I've kind of gone into a bit of detail about them now, Christina, hopefully. That's all good, but I'll put the link to my pod, heyinfluencers.com/engage. So you can look, or you can just Google Hey Engage like engagement, Or to join the waitlist for that, it's Hey Influencers, if I can type, /engage launch. Cool. So there's a bit more info there. Okay, back. Snappy, it's a nickname, good. I was hoping that wasn't your full actual name or your parents were, having a tiny bit of a laugh. Ashley Moore, design, time, function, price. Yeah, correct, perfect. I'm going to do a LinkedIn post on changing a dimension of a product like I discussed earlier. And again, if anybody missed that earlier, I'm talking about when you're coming up with a new product, the 4 dimensions that I kind of look at changing might be the design of the product, the time that the product is available, the function of the product, or the price of the product. And you can obviously rewatch this video anytime as well and hear every time I screw up again, yay. Jessica Kate, hey lovely, just wondering how you go about working out the startup costs of a business. Yeah. Because I take a tiny bit of a kind of different approach to starting a startup than some, I definitely often do a pre-launch for a product, maybe before it's even available. You have to know, obviously, that the manufacturing will come through, like you have to have already had your samples. But if you know that your manufacturing, like that your delivery will arrive, say like within a couple of weeks, then you can start a pre-launch kind of thing. So that way, what I did with SkinnyMe Tea was when I first started the company, it was such a startup. I was literally like in my mum's kitchen mixing it by hand. And I would go to the health food store and I would buy all the loose leaf teas in their raw form. And then I had the exact like formula in my head and I'd be like, okay, it's half a cup of this, it's a cup of this, it's, 3/4 of a cup of yerba mate and blah, blah, blah. It's not like I just randomly came up with this formula out of my head either. I did a lot of research into, I looked up in like medical journals, studies and clinical trials that have been done around herbs and, different effects that they might have on your body. Like 3 of the herbs in our teas delay gastric emptying by 50%, which means that your stomach empties itself into your intestines half as often, which leaves you feeling full double as long, if I can get that out. I'm actually, I haven't spoken about SkinnyMe Tea in a while because I'm always chatting about hay at the moment because it's just been my kind of main focus, but I'm getting it out. So the startup costs, I think it's always going to vary, lovely. There's not really like, the Fifth, for example, was a lot more expensive to start up than SkinnyMe Tea. So as I said, with SkinnyMe Tea, I would mix it up during the week. And I'd take orders during the week and I was working full time. So then I would fulfill the orders on the weekend as long as that could kind of continue for me. I don't think that you need to, I would say for most products, you're not going to need too much over like $2,000 to $3,000, I would say. To start a startup. I have an e-commerce course that I've recently released if anybody's interested. I can tell you a bit more about it if you are interested. And hang on, if anyone's heard of Founder magazine, founder.com/e-commerce, I teach like the entire course goes into like everything related to starting a startup, from finding your idea to branding and getting your store set up to developing and planning your idea, like going through all different things, validation, designing a prototype, packaging design, finding a manufacturer, finding a local versus global manufacturer, shipping and tracking and all of those kind of things that go into that. And then also like the launch and operations stage and the stage that I found the most exciting, which was scaling your store. So, things like cart abandonment tools, thank you cards in your order, upsells, referrals, giveaways, growing your email lists with pop-ups, like email marketing, Facebook retargeting, what are other things? Coupon codes, customer reviews for social proof. And I go into like your team and your first 3 hires, and an introduction to third-party logistics, basically all the building blocks that I've been able to use that I learned from SkinnyMe that became kind of like a repeatable framework for me, that I was able to kind of start something again and then again and again. So the really cool part is once you've done one startup, even if you think that maybe it's failed or it hasn't done that well, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. You've learned so much. I know so many people that started things really small, like my friend at Triangle, if people know Triangle bikinis, Craig, when him and Erin started Triangle, his first company, a board short company, had gone bankrupt before that. And he'd moved to Hong Kong to take this like shitty, like graphic, am I allowed to say shitty? I just did. Oops. The group's called Bitches, so whatever. He'd moved to Hong Kong to take like this shitty graphic design job, and in the meantime they were like, okay, if we can sell 1 bikini a day, we can afford our rent each week. And now I think, they sell something ridiculous like $70 million worth of bikinis a year or something. So like one failure doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be determining anything else. And I'm sure Craig learned some really, really valuable lessons in that time. I'm going to keep trying to move on a bit. Felicity Evans, hi lovely. Do you think co-giveaways work to build your following? Yeah, I do. I think you do need to be quite strategic about who you're partnering with. What we did with SkinnyMe, we would we'd collaborate with a lot of different brands to help grow our presence, but we wouldn't always kind of, I got an angry face then. I don't know what I did, sorry. Maybe they accidentally clicked it, or maybe I said something angry. What we did to grow our following originally we did a lot of influencer marketing to begin with, which I guess is kind of like a co-giveaway. I think that rather than collaborating necessarily with other brands, which may not necessarily have as many followers as you, I got another angry face. Oh, and another one. Thanks, guys. Happy I'm making you so angry. I think like the thing that you really need to think about is like how much reach that you want to get in front of. And so for influencer marketing, for example, a really positive thing that you can do is actually give away your product with the influencer. So rather than collaborating with another brand, you can collaborate with an influencer to do a giveaway. And I would say that that kind of post would definitely, have a higher kind of ROI than a general influencer post. I'm going to keep moving on. I think that topic was angering a lot of people, or they were just laughing because I kept saying it. Okay, Marja, what do you do day to day? There is a lot of team management, and I'm also like very hands-on still. I still like to do like a lot of the copy that comes out, so a lot of the communication side. Still a lot of marketing, there's a lot of Instagram. Days are pretty full, so I don't know, I've been working really long days at the moment. I went to sleep at like 3:30 last night or something, which is about my average right now, just because we've got a product launch coming up. So I've been working maybe like 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. with a couple of hours off in between at the moment. So pretty long days. It's definitely not like an easy and non-stressful thing to run startups, not for the faint-hearted, but yeah, I love it. So yeah. Cherie Amy sent me some love hearts. Ariana Wilkins sent question marks. Hi. Sorry, maybe you asked a question above. No, all good. Tash Todd, what kind of systems do you think need to be in place to scale quickly and effectively? Tash, that's a really great question. I think you do need kind of a lot of procedural things in place to scale quickly. I definitely don't think that it's a good idea to start trying to scale too quickly or too far beyond what you're ready to before you do have some procedures in place. Just, simple things like web hosting. You definitely want to be able to make sure that your website can handle influx in traffic. So say, you're going to get like a big influencer post or a big PR article written about you. You definitely want to make sure that your website can handle that. You want to make sure also that you're capturing all the data that you possibly can from that. So email signups and pop-ups are a really kind of great way of capturing signups. Like that, again, it kind of works on the like psychological principle of reciprocity. So it's like if you want people to give you something, you have to give something back in return. So that's why a lot of pop-ups are, they're kind of value unlock pop-ups. So for example, it might be enter your email to sign up to our newsletter to get 10% off your next order. Or it might be something more along the lines of enter your email to get our free ebook or our free 30-day ab challenge, or, whatever's kind of more niche specific to your startup. But yeah, in terms of systems, it's a difficult one because it's going to be quite dependent on each store. If it's like an e-commerce store, really, like the great part about e-commerce is if you do set up with something like a Shopify, for example, which we use for all of our e-com stores, then you know that all of those systems are kind of going to be in place because it's that templated kind of design. And you know that once you've filled out everything for the online store, you're basically in a really good position to be able to launch and grow in that way. I think while scaling, the main thing is to make sure that you have the right team in place. In terms of that, I mean, my first 3 hires are usually something along the lines of someone in customer service, somebody in marketing, like a marketing assistant, and somebody in operations. And as a founder as well, you need to be quite a general role. I do anything from answering the door to get packages sent to the office, going, down to warehouses. Well, actually, if any of my team are listening, they'll laugh at me for that one. I hate warehouses. But I have been to them. They are disgusting, but I have been. Not disgusting as in dirty or anything, just disgusting as in just messy, full of boxes, out in the middle of nowhere, very cold. Cherie, Amy wrote at Gretta. Thank you. You're keeping good little summary. Yen wrote, hi Greta. Hi Yen. Jordana, how did you manage copycat brands after you launched SkinnyMe Tea? Did it affect sales, or were you able to maintain your brand as you first did with SkinnyMe Tea? Yeah, Jordana, that's such a great question. To begin with, I handled it probably a bit poorly. It just really upset me, of course. I was super passionate about my brand. I was working crazy hours to get it up there and get it out. And yeah, I did let it probably affect me like more mentally a lot more. We never did anything like name and shame companies or anything like that. We always kept, oh, I'm frozen. What a stunning face to be frozen on. Let me see if this is gonna unfreeze. Oh, good, I'm back. I'm not frozen anymore, yay. And I got a like. Yeah, so basically what I ended up realizing though was like my biggest fear when I started SkinnyMe Tea was that all of the success, all of the growth that first happened, we grew really, really quickly. We grew from $0 a month, obviously, to over $600,000 a month in under 6 months. So we did grow really, really fast, but like my biggest fear was that like it would all be over tomorrow. Like it was a flash in the pan, like that nobody would want to continue buying it, that, you know, it was like a trend and it was like what people are just doing now. But the thing is that when all of our competitors came into the market, well, well, when they came onto the scene, what I'm trying to say is that they created a market. Like, rather than just being a flash in the pan success or a trending product, there was suddenly an entire market of other products. So like a really nice way to see your competitors is that like they're kind of helping build awareness and understanding around your product. Like they're helping to educate your market as well. Like when I started SkinnyMe Tea, there was just so much education stage. Like nobody had heard of what a detox was yet. And now people know, you know, like you do the 14-day one or the 28-day one. You know, they're about this much or they're about this much to buy. And like, this is what you do. You drink like one tea in the morning, one tea at night. Like it's very straightforward and easy. And because our competitors copied us so perfectly, they copied like our pricing as well. They copied the way that we packaged. They copied the 14 or 28-day programs because they did it so exactly. And what upset me most was how, you know, how close to our product they were in terms of like everything about them actually ended up to be one of our biggest strengths. So it was a huge strength for us that our competitors did copy us so exactly because they did create that market, and that demand was kind of more maintained over the years rather than diminishing as quickly as maybe it would have to begin with. So I think there's really positive ways to see your, my hand looked giant there. There's really positive ways to see your competitors as well. And I mean, you know, one way that I was chatting with an influencer recently who's very influential in the food and baking community, and she said that she used to get really upset when people were copying her account. And I know there's that saying, imitation is the greatest form of flattery, but like it is so true. Like a lot of the people that are copying your products are just because they really, really love what you're doing and they want to do something like you're doing, and they're like your super fans. So if you can kind of engage with those smaller brands that come in behind your brand, that kind of, you know, it positions you more like an industry leader and you're supporting other people rather than just kind of, I'm just very into the concept of collaboration over competition. So I hope that kind of answers that question. Danica, hi Doll, I've used SMT and love it. Haven't had it in forever. Oh, thank you, lovely. We've got a big sale on the website at the moment if you want to check it out. There's a like spin to win thing, which is working really nicely for our store as well. What you do is you enter your email and then you spin to win a discount. You know, you might win like 10% or you might win up to 40% off, or you might win like an extra tea product to go with your order or something, which is really fun. It's like a gamified discount. Yen, what are your thoughts on putting on sales frequently, yay or nay? Yeah, it does set a certain precedent, of course. And people might think, oh, I only want to get it when it's on sale now. They always have sales. Like I'm not buying it when, you know, one time the sale was 40% off, now it's 10% off. Like it really does depend on your brand and what your strategy is around that. Some brands never run a sale. The fifth, we run sales a lot less frequently, and they're never like 20% off or something. They're more like, here's $5 off your order because you've done this, this, and this for us. We definitely use a lot of reciprocity again in our sales and discounting process, but I think, yeah, it's up to you. I'm not sure on like what too frequently would be. Like the best sales are always just going to be relevant. So relevant to, you know, events that are happening at the time. Like maybe it's the start of summer for SkinnyMe Tea because we're a very like seasonal product, because people are like, oh, I want to get ready to wear my bikini on the beach. So, you know, whether that's seasonality or whether, you know, you're a highly gifted product, so that seasonality might be more so around Christmas or something like that. I think just always keep your sales relevant. Don't just be like, here's 10% off randomly. The customer either should have earned it by performing a certain action, like signing up to something or sharing you to social, or they, or it just needs to be relevant. So something like Easter sale or, you know, whatever other kind of like relevant public holidays and events there are, which you can kind of just look up online. You can get copies of all the public holidays wherever you are, or you can get copies of things like, the social media days like World Donut Day and all of those things. And you can just add them into your marketing calendar, whichever ones are relevant. So definitely relevancy in sales over frequency. Samantha, Greta, oh, hi, Greta. When did you realize SkinnyMe Tea was going to be successful? It was probably, I don't know, I was working full-time at the time, and I think it was when we started, when I started the company, we made 4 sales on our first night, and they were all to people that I didn't know. So for me, like selling something to somebody who I'd never met before was like just a huge success to me already. But I mean, when I realized that I needed to be focusing more on SkinnyMe Tea and maybe not pursuing what my full-time job was, which was a digital marketing manager anyway, so quite similar, I guess, to what I'm doing now, was when I started making like my daily wage in an hour or my weekly wage in an hour, and then making my monthly wage in an hour. And I was like, wow, this is really something that I actually need to pursue. So that was kind of when I realized that it was, becoming increasingly successful, and that I needed to kind of quit my full-time job to pursue that. So Amanda, hi Greta, wondering what you're thinking of seems to be a change in the benefits, wondering what you're thinking of what seems to be a change in the benefits of working with micro-influencers who have lower number of followers but seemingly a higher percentage of engagement with likes or comments, and the holy grail sales. Yeah, exactly. Versus working with bigger influencers and followers but less responses and ROI as they're usually sponsored. Yeah, it's a hard one. Micro-influencers, yes, they do have more engagement. They may not necessarily have the same level of trust. The reason that micro-influencers have more engagement is because the algorithm on social platforms does cater toward people with newer accounts and with smaller followings. So it gets harder and harder to grow as you get bigger. But the thing is, some of these macro influencers that have like 500,000 or 1 million or 2 million followers have been building those followings for something like 5 years. So you can imagine what that level of trust would be after, speaking to your audience for 5 years, as opposed to having just started out and getting a lot of likes. Engagement still is, it's just vanity metrics. It's like, it's a way, it's not necessarily going to equate to sales, of course. Like people say, like a like doesn't necessarily mean, you're going to get paid. But it's turning those likes and that engagement into conversions for you, which again, yes, is the holy grail. But I mean, we've had great ROI from both micro and macro influencers. We, with the 5th, we did a $1,000 post that equated in $23,000 in sales from one influencer. And we knew because we'd tracked the ROI with a discount code. So that one $1,000 post generated $23,000 of revenue, which is a 2,200% ROI. So, I mean, influencer marketing is a super, super powerful tool. My thoughts on macro versus micro influencers, though, I don't think that you can fully discount macro while using micro. I think micro are better for gifting and macro are better for paid sponsored posts, just depending on the trust level. And again, just make sure that you're tracking your ROI as much as possible using things like personalized discount codes, or like bit.ly links and things like that that have tracking in them. So hopefully that kind of helps. I can't go into like a crazy amount of detail with every question, but okay. Jelaine, I hope I said that right. What's the gross profit you hope to achieve when you start a new product, and do you only cost to sell online or wholesale as well? Yeah, that's a great question. I cost to sell both online and to wholesale, because like after you've finished, not finished, but after the first couple of years online, you do see kind of diminishing returns with selling online in some industries. So you need to be willing to move into wholesale to access kind of that new demographic that you may not be able to access online yet. Unless your product's very millennial focused, and that mean, then that way, obviously online's going to be the best way. With product margins, profit margins, I'd be looking for at least like a 70 to 80% profit margin in terms of markup on the product from what the product costs. So say it cost $2, you'd mark up by something like 80%, because you need to factor in all those other startup related costs as well. And the biggest thing that you need to factor in, and the most useful thing, sorry, I've gone quite over time in this live, but people can stay or whatever. The biggest thing that you kind of need to factor in a startup into your profit margin is your mistakes. So mistakes cost you a lot of money, and you are a new founder. So if you have a higher profit margin, it's basically like a higher mistake margin in my eyes, at least, because you have a bit more room to play with in terms of, making errors in judgment, making, orders with wholesalers that don't end up working, not wholesalers, orders with your manufacturers that don't end up working out. So I would definitely say factor in your mistake margin as well as all of your other startup costs like team, legal, shipping. Shipping's a huge one. You usually want to, when I'm doing like an 80% profit margin, that would include free shipping worldwide as well. So, those things really start to add up. So, people would be like, whoa, 80% profit margin, that's amazing. But at the end of the day, it's not a profit margin until you're pulling the profit away. So it's just, I'm talking out a profit margin on top of how much that product cost you to make, not all the additional costs after that. Okay. I would definitely love to take that course, Cherie. Thank you. The Founder podcast is awesome. I'd love to know more about pre-launch campaigns. What makes one successful? I'm running a pre-launch right now. I'd say the main thing that makes a pre-launch successful is that virality factor. So it is through referrals. So say you have 10 people sign up to your list and they invite another 2 people each, then that's 20 more people signing up, and they invite another 2 people each, then that's 40 people signing up. So if you have something like a reward system where you get rewarded for each milestone that you meet, something like 5 referrals is a free packet of like branded stickers, or 10 referrals is this branded iPhone case, and 20 referrals is this cool hat, or whatever the benefits or gifts are, that'll work really, really well. So I think that, for pre-launch, that's one of the main things that you need to do. Another thing is making your outreach list for influencers. So putting together, a bit of a wish list on people that you'd like to get in touch with when your product launches. Okay. Agree, always learn lesson, says Yen. Yeah, exactly. Jenna, I'm loving this, but my feed's buffering so much. My question was, and then some dots. If it's buffering a lot from your end, you can come back and watch it later. It will be recorded, and you'll be able to re-access this after, I think. Alyssa says she thinks that people are accidentally clicking the angry face. And it's not coming up from her end. I hope so. I'm not trying to make anyone angry. Makes sense, says Felicity. Most influencers want to be paid now, not just do product giveaways. I don't think just micro influencers won't do it in return for gifting. It just depends what the gift is. If you're selling like product packaging, or if you're selling like a really, really low price product, then obviously gifting wouldn't really make as much sense for them. But if you're selling a higher cost product like a luxury shoe or, a higher cost watch, then usually gifting can be inclusive in the price for the influencer payment. Felicity says she wasn't angry. Yay. Jelaine, how much product would you give away each month to influencers, or how many influencers do you suggest to work with for serious traction? My product's 69 Australian dollars. It's a hard one. It's dependent, I hate to say, but for example, with SkinnyMe tea, we'd probably send out about 2,000 to 3,000 packs of SkinnyMe tea a year to influencers. But, for something like the Fifth, when we launched the Fifth watches, we only sent to 30 influencers, and maybe like half of those didn't have very many followers at all. They were just more content creators. So, a great thing with micro influencers, again, is you can use an influencer as, a content creator as well, or a photographer, just to get content for your feed. And we did launch with we used only 30 influencers for our launch, and our first day of sales went really, really well. We did 100,000 Australian dollars in our first day of sales for the Fifth watches. And a year on our first birthday, we did $1 million of sales in that single day alone. So, scaling influencer marketing and Instagram marketing is just so, so powerful. And that's an example. Yen, if you start getting competitors, would you start playing with prices being on sale? I don't think you necessarily need to lower your prices if you are getting competitors. I think just really keep going over what your UVP is. So UVP being your unique value proposition. So what differentiates you from your market? And just keep playing on that again and again. So for SkinnyMe tea, for example, it would probably now be like, it would have started off as all different things because, everything was new because we were a new product. But now it would more so be the quality and the trust of the product. Like, we've been around for 5 years. We're TGA listed, which is with the Therapeutic Goods Administration of Australia. So we're able to make certain health claims, substantially, and we have that level of trust from having our OSTL number on our product, and the people that understand that and know that we are of therapeutic quality, that is probably one of our main kind of unique value propositions. So I think rather than adjusting price to do with competitive, to get a competitive advantage, it would be just adjusting your value proposition to make sure that customers can see why your product is more valuable to buy than a competitor's product that might be, mixed in a bathtub in China or something for tea, like a lot of them are. Hi, Gretta. I've been following you and you talk about creating vertical platforms using other people's content. How do you manage copyright issues? Thanks. Usually it's entirely fine. On Instagram, if you are just doing something like reposting an influencer's image, as long as you credit them in the caption, it's fine. And try to credit them as close to the top of the caption as possible. Sometimes they get annoyed when it's a long caption and it cuts off down the bottom. Oh, I don't know what that was. Oh, there's Shopify order. Yay, someone bought tea. Cute. Yes, I still get all the orders to my phone because I'm a crazy person. I like to see the names of everyone that's buying the tea because it makes me happy. And yeah, building vertical accounts. Just for anyone that doesn't maybe know what I mean by vertical accounts, that hasn't been following me on social, I basically mean, say you're in say your product is SkinnyMe tea, and so you're in the like health niche. I've also built up accounts in the health niche in all different spaces rather than just relying on our one kind of Instagram account. So I've built up, like smoothie accounts, workout accounts, detox accounts, and all of those accounts kind of feed in, and that's like the top of your funnel. So it's like the awareness stage of the funnel. And then they kind of move down into the next stage, which might be the nurturing stage or the acquisition stage. And then they move down to the next stage, which might be revenue. So purchasing your product. After revenue, they move down to the next stage of your funnel, which is, I'm having a lot of fun with this little funnel hand thing. Retention, so retaining your customers. We have an amazing retention rate at SkinnyMe Tea. I think we're something like 40% of customers repurchase from us. So focusing on that retention stage, and then focusing on the referral stage, which leads back up into the awareness stage. So that's called Pirate Metrics, and that's what we use to track all of our metrics for all of my startups. We're basically always focusing on awareness, acquisition, activation, retention, revenue, retention, and referral. So hopefully that helps. They're called Pirate Metrics because it sounds like R. And I think Dave McClure wrote Pirate Metrics, who is the 500 Startups guy that just got fired for being sexually inappropriate with women. So well done, Dave. But thank you for your Pirate Metrics. Isha. Hi, Greta. I missed out on this, but which platforms do you use to find genuine influencers? Thank you. I don't want to be pushing my own platforms the entire time. A good way is to do influencer sourcing. Pick like 3 influencers that you like within your niche, create a brand new Instagram account, follow those 3 people from it, see all the similar accounts that come up under each person when you follow them from a fresh new account, and follow anybody else that you're interested in. Then you've got this fresh Instagram account of, maybe like 100 people that you're following on there, and you can reach out to them. I would recommend doing an email and a direct message. So a direct message just being like, hi, lovely, just flicked you through an email on working with us. So that is one way of doing it. Another way is using something like an influencer marketing platform. Yes, there are a few on the market. Yes, my team would kill me if I even just said that. But I mean, ours is a great solution. We have plans starting at $99 for small businesses. And it's basically a campaign creation tool. So what you do is you go in and we have templated campaigns set out, kind of like a MailChimp or a Canva, the whole templating thing so that we can take you through if you haven't done much influencer marketing in the past. So then you pick your goals, and those goals might be something like, or not something like, the goals are content, sales, or following. And you pick which one of those that you want to focus on in this campaign. So let's say you pick the sales campaign. Then we encourage things like the use of discount codes, unique discount codes for each influencer for tracking. So say I was the influencer, not an influencer, but say I was, I'd put like Gretta 10 and, use my discount code Gretta 10 for 10% off store-wide. And then everybody that shops through the Gretta 10 code, say 40 people buy the product, that all of those sales are attributed to that influencer. So that's a good way of tracking ROI for that. But what you do in my platform, and what makes it a bit different to other platforms on the market, is you need to match with the influencer, kind of like a dating platform in a way. It's like kind of like Tinder for influencers and brands. So a brand would put out a campaign, influencers would then match, and what you do to match is you hey the campaign, and then if a brand hays you back, it means that they're willing to work with you, and you go on to the next step of the transaction. So, it will be negotiating terms, and then we take you through every step in the campaign to completion. So it's an end-to-end platform which provides a solution to take you through all the way from the creation of the campaign, or like the idea of the campaign, to the end and the payment, and making sure that we hold the payment in escrow. so that both parties can be satisfied that it's safe until after the transaction's complete. Okay. It was me who just bought tea, says Anne. Oh, thanks, lovely. That is so cute. I actually did see the name Anne come up, but I'm not allowed. I mean, I wouldn't like read out customers' phones. I wouldn't read out customers' names while I'm on my live. That's a little inappropriate to the poor customers if they were wanting to stay anonymous. Janek, maybe, I hope that I said that right. Hi, Greta, what do you think about Kickstarter to help get off the ground? Thanks. I think Kickstarter is a really great thing. The great part is that you do get to do a pre-launch, and also, like, the best part in my mind of a Kickstarter is, say 1,000 people buy from you in your Kickstarter, they're like your super fans, and they're your first 1,000, like, they're the biggest ambassadors for your brand as well. So, like, you know that, you know, a lot of the people on Kickstarter love supporting, you know, up and coming brands, and they're going to be great ambassadors for your brand as well. Because, I mean, influencer marketing is amazing, but one of the big things that influencers do is inspire your customers to be better ambassadors for your brand. So basically, influencers, and especially micro influencers, help you to generate a lot more user-generated content through inspiration. So I hope that kind of answered the Kickstarter question. I think it's a great tool. There's so many amazing articles to read online about starting a good Kickstarter campaign as well. Thanks for the tea, Anne. Anne-Marie, thanks, Greta. I've started on vertical accounts. Clever idea. Yeah, I would really suggest everybody that has a brand Instagram to create a vertical account as well. So say you're a makeup brand, just create a general like beauty inspo page as well. Because, I mean, if something happened to your Instagram, the reason that I realized that I needed to start creating, wow, I'm double overtime now. So thank you to the loyal people that have stayed this entire time. You've done well, because it is 9 o'clock now. I'm just going to finish up the questions and be done, but they keep coming. Like, the main reason, yeah, that I started vertical accounts in the first place was our SkinnyMe tea account, when we got to 200,000 followers in 2013, was actually hacked and deleted. And they changed the bio to FU SkinnyMe tea. Well, not F, but yeah, blah, U SkinnyMe tea, and then deleted it. And it was somebody in the Netherlands as well. Well, that's where their browser said that they were, but they were probably using like a VPN or something to be private. But then I realized, like, the importance of diversifying risk and not putting all of your eggs into the one basket, which is that one account. Because if you lose that account, then you've suddenly got nothing again. And I had to learn so many quick ways to grow an Instagram account by losing all of our following overnight. I bawled my eyes out, obviously. And then I woke up the next morning and was like, okay, how do I build this back as quickly as possible? I need reach. So that's kind of how I taught myself Instagram quickly, because it was being under pressure. Cherie said Heart and Claire. Ari buying tea. Amanda Watson. That's a nice, easy name to say. Thank you, Amanda. I'm stuck on wanting to scale my existing online business to being a category niche retailer and curator of LBDs of other brands to sell in my space, but they drop ship. But have no idea how to do this. Have you tried this rather than the manufacturer / retailer? Yes. Yeah. Drop shipping. Are you, Amanda, are you just asking about drop shipping in general? Sorry. Oh, now I'm frozen. I'm going to take a sip of my tea in the meantime and just relax. I try to talk too quickly and then get mixed up with my words. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I don't know a huge amount of drop shipping because I'm a bit I've created all my products myself. Drop shipping is a really great option though. So, and I mean, creating products through a Shopify store is great because Shopify has a new feature called Shopify Marketplace where you can stock kind of other people's products through your store. And so, yeah, sorry, I'm getting really tired. It is 9 here now. I mean, not that that's that late, but it has been a very long day. I had a lot of meetings, and also it was what was it? It was 11 a.m. and I just had a 2-hour meeting with my marketing assistant and got an email from our investors for Hayes saying, oh, do you realize that your our quarterly reviews due today? And I was like, no, shit. And so I had to quickly get all that together too. So quite the day, as always. But yeah, drop shipping, definitely a great idea. If you want to scale your existing online business and create it into more of a marketplace, then I'd say definitely drop shipping is the way to go. Drop shipping's more useful if you have very high traffic levels to your online store though. Say a lot of people are visiting your store but not as many people are buying from your store. That might mean that you need to diversify and have a few more products available, or it might just mean that you need to optimize your conversions a bit better. But yeah, no, I would definitely have a look at drop shipping. I'm just probably not the expert to tell you about it. Pirate metrics are, says Cherie. Thank you for your lovely summaries. Anne-Marie Cummins, I'm a service-based business. Do you think your methods would work well for both product and service-based businesses? Yeah, definitely. Because, I mean, hey, Influencers, it's a software, but it's a SaaS product, so that's software as a service. So it's basically the same sort of thing. I would definitely, as a service product, look a lot more into, especially if you're a local service, localization of marketing. Facebook groups are incredible right now. I couldn't recommend starting a Facebook group for your business or for your niche for your business more. So something like, say you're selling tea online, you might want to start a Facebook group that's all about detoxing and different ways that you can detox your body. Or for me, for example, I'm about to start a messenger bot because they're huge right now as well. So Facebook groups and messenger bots are the biggest thing on Facebook at the moment. Engagement groups are the biggest thing on Instagram right now. And what was the question? God, I'm getting tired. I've spoken for over an hour now. So sorry if I'm losing the plot a bit. Yeah, but no, I definitely think for a service business, localize as much as possible and use LinkedIn. My gosh, LinkedIn is incredible. I just posted this post a night ago, and I mean, I've been working on my LinkedIn for quite a while. I have maybe 14,151 followers. But this post I posted a day ago has 598 comments, 269 likes, and 156,000 views. And it's about a LinkedIn growth hack, which is LinkedIn engagement groups. So the cool part is engagement groups and Hey Engage isn't only going to work for Instagram. They work on any social platform basically. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, they've all got similar feeds, similar algorithms because they curate their feeds in a similar way. So they want images that are, quickly gaining popularity to be seen by more people, which makes them even more popular again. So that's the cool part. LinkedIn engagement groups are even a thing. People do them for all different platforms. Pinterest, bloggers do them even, to quickly get engagement, so some more views on their blog, more comments, and so they're going to work for any platform, which is great for us because then you're not just tied to one platform and if the algorithm changed. But I mean, the algorithm could never change away from engagement basically there'd be no other way. Like all that Instagram or Facebook or whatever else are trying to do is show you the posts that you're interested in, and the way that they determine that is based on the way that you're using the platform, which other accounts that you're viewing, and which niche that you're active within. And then when they do that, then obviously getting engagement within that niche is always going to boost your product. So this is going to be something that's going to last kind of years. It's not necessarily just like the newest hack or trick. It's definitely not like, I wouldn't call engagement groups a growth hack necessarily. I'm so tired, but powering through. Thank you for the likes. You're keeping me awake, girls. I really want to go watch Offspring with my mum. I'm at her house tonight. I was going to show you my cat as well, who's just in there with my mum. I've got a lot more questions. Okay. At what point? Oh, wait, no. Perfect, Greta. Thank you. Service-based business. Okay. Ashley, I'm going to try to smash through questions a little bit faster now. Sorry, guys, but it has been a while. Thank you for my likes. You are keeping me awake. Mava, you just liked. I saw your little skin palette thing pop up or whatever it was. Jelaine says she remembers when our account was taken off us and she felt really bad for you, but amazed that you got a new one built so quickly. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was definitely an emotional time. What are your thoughts on starting on Shopify when starting a new business pre-launch, and why? Oh, why'd you have to say and why? 100% Shopify. The reason why, I don't mean why did you have to say or why. It's a great question, of course. It just takes longer. Shopify basically, like, it's just an incredible templated way to start an online store. If you haven't started one before, you can literally just go on and create it all yourself. They've got the best kind of resources and team to support you in it. We won their Build a Business competition in 2013, and they flew us out to New York to meet some incredible mentors like Tim Ferriss, who wrote the 4-Hour Workweek, and Eric Ries, who wrote the Lean Startup. And like the editor-in-chief of Fast Company and stuff. So they've got incredible entrepreneurial support, a great community, and I just think that they have the best integrations and apps as well for their platform. Basically, like if there's something you want your store to do, you can find an app for it. So Shopify, I've just found like the most streamlined, the easiest to create, like a really stunning store, but also a really high converting store. So, I mean, you know, something like a Squarespace might create a more like visually beautiful store, but like something pretty doesn't necessarily sell. Sorry, I'm kind of stretching at the same time. It's been a big day. Okay, I'm trying to keep awake. Got this. Powering through. This is like QUT got me to come up and speak, Queensland University of Technology, and then I had 6 hours of 20-minute one-on-ones after, just like one 20-minute session after another, and at the end my brain was just like so drained. I was like, God, I hope I added value to anybody. I'm just exhausted. Jennifer Al, hi Greta, at what point did you hire a PR person or outsource to a PR agency? I didn't. I've never done PR. Yeah, for the 5th, we do have an incredible PR agency called 12, like WONETWO, who are based in Melbourne, and they help us out with like events and activations and stuff, and getting like some publicity. I think that you can do a lot of publicity stuff yourself. Like LinkedIn is a really great place to connect with a lot of, you know, magazine editors or writers, and all you need to do is find the relevant articles online. Like say you want to get your girls business group girls business group some PR. You would go and find other people that have already, like other writers that have already written in the same space. You can go to something like what's it called? Not BuzzFeed, not BuzzSumo, maybe BuzzSumo. that is the word, BUZZSUMO. And you can search for other articles that have been written in your niche about the same topics. So, and then you can find those journalists, find their contact point and say, look, you've already written about this. It's really similar. You might be interested in what I'm doing, which is similar to that. So for me, I mean, PR, you know, it's helpful to an extent, but if you don't find the right agency, you can spend a lot of money with like limited rewards. I think influencers are the new PR anyway. So influencers are so much more powerful and have such greater trust than something like a newspaper. But I mean, each to their own, just play to your power, I guess. Like if you do have a really good background in PR, if you do have any good contacts, or you can get, you know, an article out easily, then totally go for it. Okay. Snappy McGee again. Hi. How many Instagram accounts have you logged in and out of on a single device, and how many devices and staff have access to accounts on their own devices? Yeah. Oh God, probably like, well, I have like 40 Instagrams, maybe like 20 big ones, and then 20 like micro kind of ones that I'm building up at the moment, but a whole team to help manage them. Basically, yeah, so I've logged in and out of all of those on my same device. I think that is kind of a myth that if you log in and out on, you know, the same device, that like it affects engagement or affects the algorithm adversely. Next, how many staff have access to your accounts on their own devices? Probably only a few, like 3 or 4, which is not that many out of all those accounts. Also, all of the accounts, we bought a different SIM for each account. Like each account has a different SIM card with a mobile number linked to it, so that, you know, if somebody did hack into the SIM, they couldn't get every single account, they'd only get the one account. We use obviously like 2-factor authorization on them, and we use 2-factor authorization on all the emails that are linked to the accounts as well. So they're very secure now. So we've learned our lesson from getting hacked the first time. Cherie says, so excited for your messenger bot. Thank you. Yeah, the messenger bot's going to be called 100 Healthy Days, and it's going to send you for free a health tip to your messenger inbox for 100 days. And it's just about making those kind of little changes that all add up in time, and just learning something new to do for your body for 100 days. Leanne says, oh no, I'm just a bit late. Yeah, I've gone on for an hour and 17 minutes now. This is a marathon. I was meant to go for half an hour, but these things happen. The poor people, if any, Christina maybe, the admin that has to stay in and listen to me, you poor thing. Jelaine, thanks for your insight. Thank you. Olivia, agreed, Shopify is great, such a cost-efficient way to get started. It honestly is. God, I could not recommend Shopify more. Jelaine, you've done an amazing job pioneering this market, and I appreciate the time you take to teach us what you know. Thank you, lovely. I feel like I'm a bit all over the place tonight because I'm very tired, but thanks. And Marie, thanks, Greta. You're a powerhouse. Thank you. Amanda, it's the Bachelor Rose ceremony. Time for you to take a break and go get a cup. I've got this tea, but it's all cold now. My mum only has dark chocolate in the house, which is, you know, it's fine, but I'd rather some milk chocolate right now. But yes, I definitely want to go watch Maddie J in the Bachelor Rose ceremony, but don't everyone leave me right now. Cup of tea and watch Offspring, says Amanda. Yep, I am going to watch Offspring. I'll rewatch The Bachelor and not make my mum have to go through that. Snappy, thanks so much, Greta. You're a gem. It's been lovely listening to your insights. Thank you. Actually, my boyfriend calls me Snappy a lot too. He calls me Snappy Tom, like the cat. And he says, when I'm angry, he's like, the cats of Australia have made their choice or something. And I'm like, leave me alone. In fact, I want to go show you my cat. I'm going to go get him before the end of this so a whole 33 people can see my leopard. Melanie says, yes, thank you. I'll be right back and get my cat. Okay, this is my creature. He's not happy. He doesn't really like to be held because he's a wild animal. But this is him, the real Snappy Tom himself. Everyone, I want a few likes for Archie and then I'm going to go. Oh, he's getting me. Oh, yeah, he's on me. Yay. Archie, say bye. Not so sure that was a bye. Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you for having me. Meow. Bye.